Hello everyone. I got you a funny story today. This was back when I was a little girl. I grew up. We went, my dad, mom, my uncle, we all had a gospel group, and it was the Lawson Trio. Well, of course, I was a little girl, about 5 or 6, and I just loved to sing. So there was more than just the trio. There was me also. And I would sit, up on top of the banister, and I just sing away at all the songs that they were singing. And eventually they decided, well, maybe we'll get you a song to sing. So I did. I started singing some. I had 3 or 4 different ones that I sang through my life till I got to be a teenager. And of course then something happens to you and you get nervous when you weren't nervous as a child and you didn't care a bit to. But anyway, my mother, she wasn't naturally born a wonderful, beautiful singer, but she learned to be because, she had never sang. And she married at 16, and she had never sang. And Dad was always a singer, the whole family, the Lawsons, the Sizemores, musically, and they're talented. I never did play anything, but just about everybody that was a Lawson or Sizemore, you can say they play something. And Dad was a wonderful guitar player, still is. He's good to be almost 85 years old. He can still pick that thing. My son's learned how to play a little. He don't do it much. He's probably needs to practice up real good. I haven't heard him in a long time, so I'd like to hear him pick one. Of course, he always liked to pick classic rock, But anyway, the story is about my mother. Now, she was a very quiet and self-reserved person. She didn't have a lot to say. She wasn't really the friendliest sort, and it wasn't that she wasn't friendly. It was that she was just shy and backward, because her mother was kind of shy and backward, and she didn't. So she wasn't used to having. Though they had a store, a country store, she really didn't deal with a lot of people. And my mom had been very sickly as a child. She had rheumatic fever 2 different times, and she had a bad heart. So, she was kind of kept home and kept herself, and so as far as getting out in a crowd and doing anything, Mom had never done that. And so Dad, of course, he thought everybody ought to know how to sing. Everybody ought to know how to do that just automatically. And whenever he started with her, teaching her about leading singing, she didn't have one clue. Well, now Daddy did teach her how to hit the lead part, and she was the leader of the group, and she had a beautiful voice. And she didn't, she was so shy that it was very hard for her to get out in the public and do that. And, though it was for doing it for the Lord, she still didn't really enjoy it that much, because she was just so shy and backward. Didn't have nothing to do with what she's glad for what she was doing it for, but it was very hard for her. So anyway, she was also she didn't show her emotions. She was a strong person. She didn't like you to see her weak at all, or anyway like that. She didn't want to see her cry. She didn't want you to see her nothing. And if she didn't know you really well, she didn't have a whole lot to say to you. And she wasn't being mean. That was just her. She was just that way. But this one time, in a church service, it was somewhere we went. I don't even know where we was, because we went to so many churches when I was a kid. I got so tired of going to church. I hate to say that, but I did. Because it wasn't even just Saturday and Sunday. It was Wednesday night services too, So you could say 3 nights a week we were at church somewhere, which was probably good for me, but boy, I got tired. I got tired of getting ready to go, having to dress up. I had long hair, and Mom pulled me to death, pulled my hair out about it, trying to get me ready. So anyway, but this one night we went to this church, and Mom, I'll tell you in a minute what she was doing, but she was crying. where you thought she was crying. And she was just bawling. She was just about to roll over crying, let's say. And they all kind of were, tore all to pieces, kind of. And so the whole church thought Mom was in the spirit, I'm telling you. And, I mean, it didn't hurt nobody to not know she wasn't in the spirit, I don't reckon, because, I mean, tell you, that was a church service. Once she started crying, because I guess anybody that ever seen Mom knew she didn't cry much and knew she was not very emotional. So I guess that really just hit their hearts. And so they were all, there was shouting going on and everything in the world. I can't remember if anybody was saved in that service or not, but I know that was one. And because I was still a little girl, but that was one good service. And so when it comes down to going back home, and of course I didn't really realize what was going on either. You know, I was a little girl. It dawned on me, especially dawned on me after they talked about it after I was a little older. But they had got tickled about something. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, especially when you're in church and you ain't supposed to laugh. You ain't supposed to get tickled. That's when you will get tickled. Well, I don't know what they got tickled about, but one of them done something and got her giggle box turned over. Well, when her giggle box got turned over, and she was trying to be serious because this is a serious thing, and she was trying not to laugh and she was trying not to cry, but she was laughing so hard, she was crying, and she was putting on a good show because everybody thought she was crying and in the spirit and just having a time. So the whole church got to have a time. I mean, they were just, I just wish I could paint that picture for you because it was a good thing. It was a wonderful thing. It was a funny thing, though. It really was. The people that knew the truth about what they were all doing. You know, that sad thing, they wasn't in the spirit, but they were just, you know, they were singing for the church, and then they got their giggle box turned over, and it was a mess, but it all worked out for the good. So I hope you all enjoy that story because when I think back on it, it makes me chuckle. So anyway, I'll have you another one.